Hello, YouTube. Welcome to my channel, Marriage, Politics, and Sports. Hey, listen, this is the 123rd episode of my Let the Women Tell It series. And I found this young lady who I would imagine was a staunch liberal Democrat. And she doesn't like what she's seeing from the party. And I'm not going to paraphrase how she feels about the direction the party's going, or if they jump the shark, which they have. But we're going to let her say it in her own words, and then after that, I got a little clip of a woman who is an American citizen through and through, another Democrat, but of Iranian descent, and she goes through, how she feels about what's going on in Iran and whether President Trump is doing the right thing for the right reasons. And one of the biggest problems with the Democrats now is that their party identification is not about policy. It's just about hatred of one man, which is crazy. So, we're going to just go ahead and play it. I usually don't do these live, but what the hell? I'm trying to get the hang of it, just to be talking live without a script on this thing. And, let the people put stuff in the chat if they want to. It's lunchtime for many people, or they might be at work. I'm retired. I'm your favorite baby boomer. So, I have to spend my time doing something worthwhile. So I'm talking to you. So anyway, so without further ado, we're going to let this lady talk about how she feels about the Democrat Party and the direction that their leaders have taken them into. And one thing I want everybody to understand out there, whether you're seeing this live or you're going to see this on replay, you can make a comment if you want. I'm telling everybody, do not concede the midterms to the Democrats. It is not a fait accompli that the Democrats are going to win back the House. And the way they're acting right now, they shouldn't get any votes. So it is not a fait accompli that they're going to win back the House. And if the Republicans, it's really the Republicans to lose and not necessarily the Democrats to win. So without any further ado from me, we're going to let this lady tell her story about how she feels the party abandoned her and her beliefs, all because they hate Donald Trump. So here goes.
All right, guys, if you are a lifelong Democrat and you're asking yourself, what the hell happened to my party? I just want you to know that you are not alone. The Democratic Party has rooted its entire identity on one thing, being anti-Trump. They have no other identity, and this has now led them to being pro-IRGC. And it's interesting to see how this war with Iran has finally brought so many lifelong Democrats to their moment of reckoning, because this moment is really a perfect storm that exposes every single one of their fraudulent positions at once. And you find yourself asking, well, what if I support the destruction of a murderous terrorist regime that wants to destroy America? How do I reconcile my support for that with my party's stance? You see, for years, the hypocrisy inside the Democratic Party was much easier to hide. They could talk a big game about human rights, about democracy in the abstract. But in this current moment with Iran, well, it makes it impossible for them to hide what they have become. First, you have the pro-democracy lie, because we have the Iranian people who are literally in the streets, getting shot, getting killed, fighting for secular democratic freedom that we Americans claim to treasure. And these heroic Iranians have been sacrificing their lives to overthrow a regime that has been murdering and oppressing them since 1979. They are the perfect embodiment of a pro-democracy movement. And the left's response to this? Silence. That is until the US finally attacks. And then they speak up. But when they speak up against the very attack that's goal is to restore democracy, human rights, women's rights, freedom, Again, we are talking about a regime that kills Americans, that wants to destroy the West, that has tentacles in every part of the world, promoting terror in the name of radical Islam. And the Democratic Party is against removing them from power. Yeah. So people are finally starting to see through the BS, but what's happening inside the party goes even deeper. You see, the Democratic Party, they couldn't rally behind the Iranian people because their whole worldview, their whole ideology is largely built on a binary construct of oppressor versus oppressed. And they've somehow categorized the brutal terrorist regime, the IRGC, as oppressed because they are anti-American. Now, this is a level of moral sickness that is so depraved. They have actually convinced themselves that America is the oppressor of the world. And so anyone against us is a victim, even when they are murderous terrorists. It is a real illness. And I'm going to prove it to you in real time. You see, because the moment when the US attacked the IRGC, the Democratic Party had a choice. They could either side with America and the freedoms and the values that this country was built on, while simultaneously siding with the Iranian people who want these actual oppressors, murderous terrorists, gone, or they could side with their one true guiding principle, which is whatever Trump does is bad. And they did what they always do. They went up against Trump, though this time that meant siding with the largest exporter of terrorism in the world. And that's when it clicked for people that the party stance, it's not about freedom. It's not about democracy. It's not about national security. It's not about human rights, because this moment made it impossible not to see that the Democratic Party arrived at their stance on the war with Iran through the one principle that they currently hold, which is political opposition. They would rather defend the strategic interests of a terrorist state than support Donald Trump for weakening them. The hollowness of what the party has become has been revealed, because when your entire ideology collapses into being against one person, then you really have no ideology. You have nothing. And the war with Iran has proved in real time that the Democratic Party has completely unraveled. It is not about what is right and what is wrong or what is best for America or the world. It is only about being against Trump. And when you see that truth laid bare, whether or not you like Trump, you cannot unsee it. So to my friends out there who are feeling politically homeless today, I just want you to know that you did not abandon the Democratic Party. They abandoned you.
I think this lady's on point. Listen, one of the things that I try to do is not just lean on my own ideology here. I think it comes, her words are much more powerful than what I would say. I used to, like I said, I'm a black dude. We were born into the Democrat Party. And I'm so happy that I got off that plantation. And but it took me a long time, it took me a lifetime, because I'm 67. So if any of you younger folks, 40 and under, 50 and under, if you could come to your revelation a lot faster than I have, then God bless you. So it's good to see a young lady like her. She's probably in her 40s, but she's young to me. She could be my daughter. It's good. Now, I'm not saying she's going to vote for Republicans or she's going to turn into a Republican, but she's recognizing the demonic strain of evil that has permeated the Democrat Party. And it's probably not all of them. It's just the people who are in charge. And it's not the Democrat Party of old, but this new one is a destructive force. I have one more video for you guys. It's really a short clip of an Iranian-born woman who's an American citizen. But the thing that makes her different, and she's a Democrat too, lifelong Democrat. The thing that makes her different is that as an immigrant who's here and now an American, there's two things that's going to be evident. One, that she has allegiance to America. And two, she's fully assimilated in American life without losing her Iranian culture. And that's the kind of immigrants, legal immigrants that we need here. So we're going to play her next. And you guys listen up. Uh, I think what she has to say is pretty poignant. Now, she is a pundit, comes on CNN, I believe, regularly. And you look at Dana Bash's face when this lady takes over the broadcast. It's something to behold. Let me go ahead and find it. All right, here we go. All right, so.
In the middle of all the propaganda, sometimes a little bit of reality slips through the cracks.
I think that it is imperative the Democratic Party wake up and get past their dislike of Donald Trump, the President Trump, and their feelings of international conflicts going on. This is about national security. This is about what is possible in the Middle East. This is about being a good neighbor, good partner to the Gulf states and what their aspirations are. This is about supporting the people of Venezuela. This is about dismembering our relationship with, or not dismembering, but resetting our relationship with China. Right now, 55% of the oil production that Iran produces goes to China despite sanctions. You want to support the people of Ukraine, you want to end that war, you have to. There is no getting around dismembering this Islamic Republic. It is non-negotiable. It is not a want to have, it is a have to have. And it's not just for the Iranian people. I think you have to trust the Iranian people. We know this government better than anyone else. When you dismember and decapitate this regime, you are going to see a change in the Middle East, in Venezuela, in China, in Ukraine. And I think, quite frankly, their ideology has really, it's caused a lot of problems for us worldwide. We need to take it seriously. And I think at this point, we have a tremendous opportunity. This will be like ending the Soviet Union, the Berlin Wall. This is a transformational moment for humankind, for security. And as an American, this is in our interest to complete it. So I am a Democrat. I have been a huge Democrat. I am incredibly disappointed with my party. I do not see myself in them in this moment. It's caused a lot of problems for us.
I just wanted to play it one more time from this position, because the way she says, as an American, and she says it twice, it really resonates, okay? Because there's a lot of people who come in from other countries. For example, the Somalis, they don't call themselves American. They call themselves a Somali, taking full advantage of everything we have to offer. But they can't even call themselves Americans. All right? So let us hear her say one more time.
Worldwide, we need to take it seriously. And I think at this point, we have a tremendous opportunity. This will be like ending the Soviet Union, the Berlin Wall. This is a transformational moment for humankind, for security. And as an American, this is in our interest to complete it. So I am a Democrat. I have been a huge Democrat. I am incredibly disappointed with my party. I do not see myself in them in this moment.
Oh my God. Did you see Dana Bash's face? Like, just go back, rewind the clip, and just stare at her face the entire time that they're talking. She was forced to sit there and listen to a Democrat who actually had a logical view on her own party and how it pertains to the global stage. She couldn't take it. She could not. Her face was priceless.
All right, let me stop it there, okay? Because it was priceless. And that's the way it is right now. I think we have to choose sides. We have to choose America or everybody else. For me, the answer is simple. It's the country, it's America, it's the American way of life. And we're at a crossroads. And like I said to a lot of people, when you start hearing them say, that the midterms are going to go to the other party and all that, I'm not conceding that. I think that's bullshit. It is for Donald Trump and the crew to lose, but it doesn't seem like the Democrats are winners in any way, shape, form, or fashion, especially with their hatred of the country. And not only because I'm saying it, is they show it at every turn. They hate one man, and they'd rather see him fail than the country succeed. With that, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for stopping by. Art Payne, your favorite baby boomer, over and out.